Neo did a podcast,
Oh,
and I won't play the audio, but the
you
audio
won't?
is out there if y'all want to find it.
Mm-hmm.
And on the podcast, they asked him about being polyamorous.
Mm-hmm.
And Neo said, yeah, I'm honest with everybody. The women know, my kids know, everything. So your kids know, how does that go? And he said, yeah, I'll be in there like, okay, I'm not, again, this is not me quoting exactly. I'm trying to summarize for the audience.
Mm-hmm.
But he basically says, yeah, I tell them this is daddy's girlfriend, and this is daddy's girlfriend, and this is also daddy's girlfriend. And this one's going to make breakfast, and this one is going to clean this, and this one is going to make lunch. And so it is my understanding that Neil has 6 children, and the eldest is 13 years old.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
How many
this is,
girlfriends does he have?
well, that is speculation. I don't know the answer.
Okay.
Speculation is that it continues to change, and there's some other beef with his latest BM.
Okay.
She was very upset about the podcast, but I'm not going to address that part because that a lot of that stuff is speculation.
Okay.
But he has multiple women that are his girlfriends, and he saying that he introduces all of them to his children and is honest about it. And so, as you know, as a person who's all about transparency, I appreciate the honesty, right? Saying I'm honest with everyone, that's good. The women should know. But I just felt like I heard it and was like, but the kids though?
Yeah,
And
why are they involved?
and it threw me off because I'm like, it's one thing to say I'm honest, even bringing them around your friends, whatever you want to do. But when you have small, impressionable children, it gets a little weird for me. And also, I just felt like, yo, what's up with Neo, man? I love Neo, but what's up with Neo? So,
Oh, okay.
well, I just want to say real quick, like, for me, this is hard because I'm a parent, and I don't think every Tom, Dick, and Harry should be around your kids.
Agreed.
If you've been with somebody for
I'm
a
not a parent,
year,
but I can agree with that.
yeah, I mean, if you've been with somebody for a year or whatever amount of time, a lengthy amount of time, and you decide, hey, we're going to introduce you to the kids, I think that's a conversation. I also think it's a conversation that needs to happen with the other parent. Everybody doesn't feel that way. This is my personal opinion. But I think you got to figure out how that's going to go. Because what I have learned the hard way is when you bring people around your children, children have attachments, children have young impressionable minds. And so there's a lot of things that can happen just from the introduction. And I'm not saying he should not be polyamorous. Let me be clear. I'm not saying he should not introduce his kids to the multiple women. I'm just saying I question some of these things because of the fact that his kids are so small. It's not like you got a 17-year-old and you're introducing them to this lifestyle and they fully understand it. And like some of these, like one of them is like a 9-month-old, 1-year-old or 2-year-old, something like that. Like one of them is a small baby. I don't know the exact age, but it the kid is like 1 or 2 years old or something like that. I don't know if this is smart. I don't know if this is healthy. As a parent, I don't approve of this method. Not the polyamorous lifestyle, no beef there. I just think when you start bringing all these people around your kids, there's going to be problems later on, especially if this is somebody you just met, because you don't really know that person, what influence they will have over your children or what they're capable of. I'm not going to get too crazy here, but everyone shouldn't be alone with children is what I'll say. And so,
That's fair.
I just think this is a wild situation. And I just feel largely Neo's wilding out.
I forgot what my question was or what I was
My
gonna
question for
say.
you is if you're dating a man with kids and he says, "Hey, I'm gonna bring around my 6 kids." I mean, what do you feel on
Oh,
that side?
so that's actually what I was gonna say. I know you're saying that you're questioning Neo, and I hear you. And I think that, yes, the bulk of the onus is on the parent. But I also feel like, as a person on the other side of that, I don't think it's always appropriate for the person on the other side to agree to me. I think that everybody has to take responsibility for that sort of interaction in order to, like you said, these are small children and people do grow attachments. And hell, people grow, like family members grow attachments with your significant other.
That too.
That is a thing that happens. So I always feel like you have to be cautious. And I think as a person who's on the other side of that, like me, being a woman who doesn't have kids, but like may date men who have children, I am skeptical of a man who, you know, a month in is like, hey, want to meet my son? No,
Right.
because where are we that you think that I should be meeting your son? Like, it just doesn't, to me, that doesn't jive. And I think everybody has to be intentional when it comes to those types of situations. They're very delicate,
Yeah.
and they should be treated as such on both sides. I think I should have questions for a man who wants to introduce me to his kids too soon. He should have questions for me if after a month I'm like, hey, can I meet your kid? Where's your kid? How come? Oh, you have your kid this weekend? Why not come over? Or
Well,
whatever it
are we
is.
spending the whole weekend with your kid?
Yeah, like that's weird. That's weird to me. I think that there are circumstances where certain things make sense, right? Like, um, just you have to be able to decide when the time is right. Um, you can end up bumping into situations where time is not on your side, and I totally understand that and can empathize with that. But that's like the exception to the rule, right? Like the rule should be, let's be thoughtful and careful about this because there is a little person whose brain is not fully developed, and that's the priority. I think that's the priority mainly of the parent, but it's also the priority on both sides in terms of two responsible adults being involved in the situation. So, like for me, if somebody approaches me like that, then I'm like, are you sure about that? Listen, like I said, it doesn't only happen with children. I think children is a very specific thing, and that is the most delicate of the interactions. But I'll never forget Paul from the MTA. I say it because, like, I don't know Paul's last name, and honestly, if I saw Paul on the street, I wouldn't even recognize him at this point. Paul from the MTA was a dude I met. I went speed
From the
dating.
MTA.
No, I went speed dating. And Paul was the only black man at the speed dating event. I think I told you the story. And, so we matched mainly because he was the only black man. Not necessarily because I really wanted to get with
Winner
Paul.
by default.
Right. I mean, I picked other people too, but I was just like, well, how do you not pick the only black man? So, yeah, we matched and he wanted to hang out, and I was fine with that. I was open to it. And then Paul said that, on Saturday, his mom was having a bus ride to Six Flags with one of them. And he wanted me to come with him. That was going to be our first date. I hit Paul the next day and I said, listen, Paul, I don't know you. This is a true story. I'm not bullshitting.
I
This is
believe
real.
it.
This is a
That's
real
what makes
story.
it
There are
funny.
people who can corroborate the story. I said, I don't know you. Um,
Oh,
and I'll be honest with you, I don't really feel like the first time I sit with you and, uh, you know, try to get to know you, that we are also with your mother and the rest of your family. I feel like that's a little bit too much for me. That's probably a bit much for the family
Right.
and you. And I don't think that that's the way to go. He was fine with it. He said, okay, let's make another. He was like, tell me where you want to go. Which I hate. I didn't do that on the first date. But he was like, tell me where you want to go. I found a bar. Now, the kicker here is that I actually never went on a date with Paul because y'all thought the bus ride was the plot twist, but no. I made plans and I got dressed that morning. We were gonna go out for drinks after work. I made sure I was cute that day. I mean, I was cute every day, but I made sure that, right. I made sure that, I was date ready, and I went to work, and all morning I had a bad feeling, like just something didn't feel right. I knew that I didn't really like Paul like that. Like, I wasn't really into Paul. I was just kind of going through the motions. And then, to be honest, the bus ride thing turned me off.
Understand that.
So I hit Paul and I said, listen, I don't think that we can go on this date later. I'm really sorry for the inconvenience, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do this date later. And he's like, oh, you want to reschedule? And I was like, actually, I don't.
Mm.
But, it was really nice meeting you, blah, 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 all that jazz. And, the reservation I made, I just, took one of my friends. So, yeah. But the point here is, it's too
Discernment.
much. Too much too soon. Yes, have some discernment. Too much too soon is not good for anybody,
Yeah, and I want to be clear, like,
especially not children.
right, that's where I take issue. I'm very okay with him being polyamorous. That's not my business as far as I'm concerned.
I'm
Right?
not
Like,
even speaking to that. Yeah.
no,
Because
but I
that's a
want to
life.
address it because some people feel there is a thing going on where people are saying, like, Neo is promoting the polyamorous lifestyle too much and in a wrong way. I'm not here to judge that. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever he's doing,
Yeah.
that's on him. To
Hmm.
me, I feel like, dog, chill out. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like, we seeing these women on camera and, you out in public with them, making sure you're being seen. And
Yeah.
all of that is your business, even though you wildin'. But now for me, the kids was the cherry on top. You feel what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like, if you want to be
Yeah.
seen with 2 and 3 women in public, if you want to be doing makeout sessions with them, that's, cool. Live your life, player. But dog, you got 6 kids.
Especially if there's a revolving door. I just feel like if it's not like a steady, these are my people and that's that. I mean, listen, everybody's not going to be okay with that lifestyle. Um, it's also a lot of people I don't like the word manage, but like there's a lot of people to manage for one child to I can get why a parent might be given pause by another parent having that lifestyle. However, it is what it is. I think the best thing that you can do is try to be responsible about
Yeah, in
it.
this age.
And right. That's because, again, to your point, like I'm not saying what I'm saying to judge anyone or to decide how people should live their lives or, interact with others. But I think you got to take some sort of responsibility. Kids require sometimes more information that we even are willing to give them. You know what I mean? Like, in order for them to understand, like, you really got to actually sit with them and like break down what's going on. Maybe you're not going to tell them every detail, but in order for all of it to make sense and for them to feel safe, because that's also, you're used to being at home with mom and there's one mom, and now you're with dad and there's 3 women. So I'm not necessarily saying that dad is wrong for there being three women, but now this child has to figure out how to navigate not one person, but multiple people. It
And how
has to
does
be,
and how do your very young twin girls do that?
yeah, it's just,
And
it's a
I guess
lot for
really,
them to have to make sense of. So it has to be handled very delicately, very responsibly. Like you can't just have people in and out of your house. You can't, if you're gonna have the girlfriends, you gotta, it's almost like you gotta have like a solid group of people that are you expect to be around for a long time
right.
and then go down that road. But if it's
And
just
not
like you have a revolving door, I don't know. I don't know that it doesn't work with one person when you have a revolving door and you're constantly introducing a kid to different people. So I don't know. I don't know.
yeah,
I
and
just
I guess really what I'm lost about is I guess he's excited, but I don't understand why this is like something he feels he has to keep sharing. Because on the podcast they
yeah,
asked him, he didn't have to say shit about his kids.
right.
Like I
That's true.
don't you don't even have to answer the question. You can say, hey, I'm not comfortable speaking about that.
I said to you off pod, if I'm not mistaken, Cat Williams is polyamorous, and you hardly ever see or hear about them.
Right. I don't know that to be true. You said it. I believe you, but I don't remember that coming up.
It's a comedian, and I hope I'm not. I hope I'm not.
You ain't putting polyamorism on Cat?
Yeah, I hope I'm not doing that. But I think it is Cat Williams.
That's
He's
fine.
definitely a comedian, and one that's popular. One that, if it's not Cat Williams, then maybe it's what's his name? Epps, Mike Epps.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
It's one of them.
I usually don't know these things. And why? Because it's not our business. And so
One
that's
of them
kind of
said it
the
on a
whole thing
podcast
here.
one day or
Like,
something. Yeah,
gosh, yeah, it's like, that's the thing. It's like, you really want us to know this. And I mean, I don't understand why. I just feel like Neo's wild.
yeah. Well, yeah, and yeah. I don't know. I don't know what the real story is there. His exes seem to think there's more to the story. I don't know, and I
Yeah, they're
just,
not happy, but I didn't want to say too much about that because the things they are saying, we don't know what's true and not true. So I try not to bring that stuff up here.
yeah, I hear that.
But no,
And
they're not
yeah,
happy.
no, I
And
mean,
and I
good.
wouldn't be happy either if random
No,
people were just around my kids.
yeah, I agree. I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
You gotta be careful who you bring around. You bring around children too, because they're so intuitive that they know when they feel good about someone and when they don't.
Yeah.
And that's why I said it's just a lot of people, just in general, even if you have like a friend group that you're introducing to your kid, I would imagine like multiple people at the same time. It's like there's a lot of overload there on your mental state, but you know.
Yeah. And on those kids' mental states.
Well, that's what I mean. I mean the kids.
Oh, okay. I'm in agreement then. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just feel like Neo gotta chill out. I love him. And I can't wait for the next album. But dog,
Oh,
cógelo suave, papi.
he's gonna start singing about the trio. He's gonna call him something. He's gonna give him a name or something. I keep saying it's three. I don't know that it's three. I'm just
Well, that's what he said
I'm
in the
just I just
podcast.
threw
In the
out a
podcast,
number.
he made it seem like there were three.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, good luck to Neo and double luck to those kids.
Yeah.